Good morning, good morning. This is another daily dose of the ledger of an aspiring speaker. About 45 days ago, I set myself a challenge to speak off the fly, unscripted, and topics have been hard to come by. And there are days when I feel like I don't have to say anything because I would have little content to start with. And today, what I'm going to speak about is inspiration. Where do we get the inspiration to do something? Like I said, there are some days when I don't feel like inspired to do anything. I try to look at my creative juices. I can't come up with a topic. I can't come up with words to utter. Even if I could get a topic, the words don't come out of my mouth. Where does that inspiration come from? I recall there was a time when I was not working most of the time, or some of the times, because if you are not working, you are also not that extremely mobile. So I wasn't very, very mobile, but there'll be instances whereby I would have to travel around. While it's traveling around, and I would look at some big buildings around me, those good office spaces, with modern finishes, and I would look at people as they drove into those places. And one thing that used to amaze me, I would ask myself this question: to which school did these people go to? What sort of accomplishments, what sort of qualifications, what sort of skill, expertise do they possess that I don't have? I'm struggling to secure a job, but yet all these buildings, the fact that they exist, somebody's working there. And I'm sure if somebody's working there, that somebody is a fellow human being like myself. So I ask myself, what kind of capabilities do these people possess that I don't have? And most of the time, that would inspire me to be able to achieve what they were on course to achieve. And I set myself the goals to say, if somebody can go there and occupy that office, and that somebody probably went to the same school as myself, maybe he's got half the intellect that I have, he's less resourceful than I am, he's less determined than I am, then what separates me and them? And I devised a few strategies to say, no matter what, I'm going to secure a job one day. So I remember in some of the days I would go to Sandton City. Daushi Bank used to be opposite where there is the current How train. And I would go there and visit each and every office. When I get there, I would request the names of the HR person. And most of the times, the people at the reception don't want to share the names of their HR directors, the HR managers, or senior HR people. They will tell you to go through your recruitment specialist, or you go through their website. I would actually specifically ask for the HR manager or HR director names and contact details, as if I am their acquaintance. So what I would do, at times I would research who the HR person is, and when I come, I say, I'm looking for such and such a person, can you give me their contact details? And probably they would share their contact details. Then the next thing that I would do, I would send a direct personalized email to that person to say, I'm looking for a job. If there is something, offer me something. But I would have jumped a certain hurdle that is so difficult to jump, which is where your application lands. Could it be the reception, or it could be the application tracking system? So that's what I would do. And I finally managed to beg a job in one of the big corporates, and all the office spaces that I used to dream about, now I was working there. But my inspiration didn't end there. The next thing that I asked myself is, now I'm working in this big corporate park. There are products and services that we are offering, but probably there is somebody who owns these companies. That human being who owns these companies probably went to the same school as myself. We drink the same water, we eat the same food, we breathe the same air, we receive the same sunlight in the morning. Whether we wake up in the morning, the same dew and drizzle actually falls on us. We are staying in the same locality. But then what separates the winners, what separates the achievers, what separates the successful, and myself? And I set myself a next challenge. I said to myself, one day, instead of working for somebody, these companies that I used to admire to work in, one day one of the buildings will have to be owned by myself. I have to start offering some products and services that solve human problems. And then I realized that inspiration comes from the things that we want, from the things that, from our pain. Because I was not working, that's where my inspiration came from. Right now, I'm struggling to meet my my financial obligations. There are other things, and also in terms of my my motivation, the job security. There's quite a lot of things, and I'm saying, and also I am seeing some of the human problems around us, and those human problems, they also affect me, or they affect the community around me. And I'm saying, the only way we could solve those human problems, the only way I could solve my problems, is if I enter into the entrepreneurial space. These organizations that I've always admired to work in, I don't intend to work in them anymore, but I want to own one, and I am on course to do just that. That's where my inspiration is coming from. The question that you have to ask yourself is, where does my inspiration come from? Once you discover where your inspiration comes from, please water that, cultivate that, nurture it, so that you keep being inspired. And one day, if you decide to do something about what inspires you, you might find yourself doing something meaningful and worthwhile for yourself. This has been another daily dose of the Ledger of an Aspiring Speaker. I am on course. If you want to join me,